In the heart of the small town of Willow Creek, surrounded by dense forests and whispered legends, stood a house that had long been the subject of fear and fascination. The locals spoke of it in hushed tones, recounting stories of its dark history and the tragic fate of its inhabitants. They called it the most haunted house in the region, a place where the spirits of the past still roamed. The house had once belonged to the Peterson family, a wealthy and respected family in Willow Creek. Mr. and Mrs. Peterson were known for their generosity and kindness, and their daughter Lily was the light of their lives. Lily was a sweet and cheerful girl, beloved by all who knew her. But one fateful night, tragedy struck the Peterson family. A terrible fire broke out in the house, trapping the family inside. Despite the efforts of the townspeople, Mr. and Mrs. Peterson perished in the flames, and their bodies never recovered. Only Lily managed to escape, but she was never the same again. After the fire, the house stood empty and abandoned, its once grand facade now a shadow of its former self. The townspeople began to whisper that the house was cursed, that the spirits of the Petersons still haunted its halls. They spoke of strange noises in the night, of flickering lights seen from the windows, and of a ghostly figure that could sometimes be seen standing in the upstairs window, looking out into the night. As the years passed, the stories of the haunted house grew more elaborate, each telling more chilling than the last. Some claimed to have seen the ghostly figure of Lily herself, still searching for her lost family. Others spoke of strange happenings inside the house, of furniture moving on its own and doors slamming shut with no one near them. Despite the rumors, there were always those who were drawn to the house, eager to uncover its secrets. Some came seeking thrills and adventure, while others hoped to communicate with the spirits of the past. But none were prepared for what they would find inside. One such group of adventurers arrived in Willow Creek one crisp autumn evening. They were a motley crew, a mix of skeptics and believers, drawn together by their fascination with the supernatural. Among them was Sarah, a young woman with a keen interest in the paranormal. Sarah had heard the stories of the haunted house at Willow Creek and was determined to see if they were true. She had spent years studying the supernatural, and she was convinced that there was more to the stories than mere legend. She had a theory that the spirits of the past were trying to communicate with the living, and she hoped to prove it once and for all. As Sarah and her companions approached the house, they could feel a sense of foreboding in the air. The house loomed before them, its windows dark and empty, its roof sagging with age. Sarah's heart raced with excitement as she stepped across the threshold, eager to begin her investigation. Inside, the house was cold and musty, the air thick with the smell of decay. Sarah shivered as she looked around, taking in the faded wallpaper and dusty furniture. Her companions fanned out, each exploring a different room, their footsteps echoing in the silence. As the night wore on, strange things began to happen. Sarah heard footsteps in the hallway, but when she looked, there was no one there. Doors slammed shut on their own and lights flickered overhead. Sarah's companions grew increasingly nervous, but Sarah was undeterred. She was determined to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. As Sarah explored further, she began to sense a presence in the house, a feeling of being watched. She followed the sensation to the upstairs bedroom, where she saw a faint light flickering in the darkness. Cautiously, she approached, her heart pounding in her chest. To her surprise, the light was coming from a small lantern sitting on the bedside table, and beside the table stood a ghostly figure, a young girl with long, flowing hair and sad, soulful eyes. It was Lily, the ghost of the Peterson girl. Sarah gasped in astonishment, but Lily did not seem to notice her. She was lost in her own world, staring out the window at the moonlit sky. Sarah approached her slowly, not wanting to frighten her. "Lily," she said softly, "is that you?" Lily turned to look at her, her eyes filled with sorrow. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. "I'm Sarah," Sarah replied. "I've come to help you." Lily looked at her curiously. "Help me? How can you help me?" "I'm trapped here, forever." Sarah knelt beside her, her heart breaking for the lost soul before her. "You're not trapped, Lily, you just need to find peace. I can help you do that." Lily shook her head. "I can never find peace. Not until I find my family. They're out there somewhere, lost to me." Sarah took Lily's hand in hers, a sudden understanding dawning on her. "Lily, I think I know where your family is. I think I can help you find them." And so Sarah set out to unravel the mystery of the Peterson family's disappearance. She combed through old records and newspapers, piecing together the events of that fateful night. And finally, after weeks of searching, she found what she was looking for. The Peterson family had not perished in the fire, as everyone had believed. They had managed to escape, but they had been separated in the chaos. Mr. and Mrs. Peterson had been badly injured and had been taken in by a nearby family who had cared for them until they recovered. Lily, meanwhile, had been found wandering in the woods by a kind old woman who had taken her in as her own. With this new information in hand, Sarah returned to the house at Willow Creek, where Lily was waiting for her. She told Lily the truth, that her family was alive and well, and that they had been searching for her all these years. Lily could hardly believe it. Tears of joy streamed down her face as Sarah led her outside, where a car was waiting to take them to her family. As they drove away from the house at Willow Creek, Lily looked back one last time, a smile of gratitude on her lips. From that day on, the house at Willow Creek was never haunted again. The spirits of the past had found peace, and the town of Willow Creek was at peace once more. And Sarah, the young woman who had solved the mystery, became a local legend, her name forever linked with the tale of the most haunted house and the scary girl who had once lived there. For more scary and horror stories, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.